Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh my goodness, I am so excited for our guest today. Not only was she a wedding planner, she's been in business for many, many years, she's been in corporate for many years, but oh my goodness, what she does now for female business owners is out of this world. And I'm not going to give too much away. You're going to listen to this episode as we're going to be talking about how she actually helps female business owners build a business that they absolutely love, that goes with the personality that they have fun with, and we're going to go digger bigger into this, right? Oh my goodness, I can't say words. All right, so please welcome to Make Your Mark podcast, Paula. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to have you here.
Hi, Kay. I'm so excited to be here as well. You bring the excitement. So, both of us together, it's a bit of an explosion, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Now, Paula, before we get into the nitty-gritty, right, of really how you help people, the results you bring these female business owners, I would love for you to share with all of us a little bit about your background, what your journey looked like, because I'm sure there was a lot of twists and turns before you got to the business you are doing today.
There was. And I always say this to clients or connections, nothing happens overnight. And we all, get into this state where we're like, oh my gosh, I want it to happen. I want it to happen now. And I'm like that as well, because honestly, I'm so impatient. But, it has been a journey. I started my business after being in corporate. So I was in corporate for over 20 years. So I started working with Welsh Water, and I started as a junior customer services assistant, and worked my way up through the ranks. And during that time, I also did my MBA. So I worked full time and also studied for my MBA, which was a big step for me to take, but I was ready, so I did that. And then I worked my way all the way up to business development, and then I left Welsh Water and I went to HBOS, which was the combination of Halifax and Bank of Scotland. Worked with them as a business analyst, project manager. All of that time, it was just me being in a job that I could progress. I hadn't really thought about, setting up a business or anything like that. And it wasn't until those sort of like years being with HBOS and probably about 4 years into it that I realized, you know what, I need to do something that's more me. Because in my spare time, it's all about creativity. That's who I am. Creativity is my core. So I sang in a band. I was a lead singer in a band for 10 years. I was a solo artist for 4 years. I did amateur dramatics. I loved sort of creative writing. All of those things I was doing alongside working in corporate. And I thought, no, I need to do something that's me, not feeling constrained, because as a creative person, you have to follow all the rules in corporate. And so I went into events, started my own events business, which was obviously linked a lot to creativity, and then quickly moved into wedding planning, because a friend sort of pushed me into doing that, and I really didn't plan to do wedding planning at all. It's so stressful, but that was my thought, is how stressful it would be. But she just was adamant she needed somebody that she could trust. I did it, absolutely loved it. And yeah, the most part of my events business is as a wedding planner. Then I also did, honestly, this is a bit of a long story, but I'll try and make it short. I honestly then moved to, I was running events for small businesses, to promote and sell, and I found really unique places for them to sell. And then I started doing training around that. How are they showing up? How can they be seen? How can we do creative things to sort of like really promote yourself? And yeah, then on the back of that, then the mentoring started.
Wow. Oh my good. It sounds like it's been quite a journey,
It has.
right? And trying to kind of figure out what you like, what you don't like, trying different things. And do you know what? It is all about that. It's about seeing where the opportunities are, saying yes to them, because you can always say no if you don't really want
Yeah.
to continue doing that, right?
Mm,
But you can't figure out what it is that you like unless you try different things. And
absolutely.
that's what you did. So that's amazing. I love that. Now, I would love for you to share with people now, like a little bit about what you do now, because I've got loads of questions about all of this as well. And I really want to kind of go into the deep things that you do for your female clients here, right? So tell us a little bit about what it is that you do now.
So right now, I'm concentrating mainly on my mentoring. So I'm a creative confidence and visibility mentor. I
Mhm.
put the word creative in there because I say to people, I see things that they don't see, and I don't mean ghosts. I mean, as in, as in, you tell me information, and I can find ways to be able to describe or pull all of that information together and put it back out in a more creative and dynamic way. So that's
Oh,
all linked to how I am as an individual. And what I do is I help other people understand what their genius is, what are their
okay.
personal things that are really great about them. Because what happens is that especially women, my main clients are midlife business women. That's my target audience. We forget our past and our background and our personalities and where we come from, what we did and achieved. And like where I shared my story with you, you heard all of that. There's so much behind me just saying I'm a creative, confidence and visibility mentor. So I help people reconnect with all of that and then express themselves in their business with all of those personality traits.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh my goodness. So, all right. Just from what you just said, I've got loads of questions from that alone, right?
Go for it.
So if someone comes up to you and says, okay, do you know what? Like, I've got this business. I know it can do really, really well, but I don't know what's going on. There are some blocks that I have. I know that for sure. Like, where would you even start with that particular individual? Because there's so much that's involved.
Yes, there is. There is. Obviously, it's always important for me to understand what business they're in. So,
Mm.
what business are you doing? But the main crux of what I do when I start working with, say, I have programs that I work with people for 4 months, or we just like dip in and we have like a quick session and things like that. I always want to find out who they are as an individual. So let's just park your business for a bit because we get very
Okay.
caught up in, oh my gosh, this is what I do, and this
Yeah.
is, and because we're in business mode. But
Hmm.
I want them to remember, let's go back. Let's talk about you. Tell me about you. What do you like? What do you love? What are some of the things that you do in your spare time? And not until people start talking about that sometimes they remember because they totally forget who they are. They've been so
Oh,
caught up in the business aspect of things, and they're following a tick box and they're trying to be like, oh, well, this is what they say you've got to do in business, that they've forgotten who they are as an individual and whether or not that resonates with them. So I
right.
want to collect all of that information. Tell me about you. Tell me about your likes, your dislikes, all of these things. And then we then sort of move in, okay, like tell me about your business then and your skill. And then I want to know about you personally, but I also want to know about you professionally as well. And then we want to look at your business and how can we weave in you into how you
Right.
promote in your business. So how are we
Okay.
weaving that in? For instance, I was talking to somebody and she is a coach, and we were talking about this sort of concept, and she was saying, "Oh my gosh, and now you're saying this," and I'm thinking, she said, "I love cooking." She said, "I've always loved cooking, but I haven't really got myself, doing as much as I used to do." And we started talking about it, and she said I could provide like cooking coaching sessions where people
Oh,
come along and we cook and we eat and then we sort of talk about what you might ever want. That is unique to her. So it's something
right.
completely different that is, and I've been doing that all my life throughout my business. People like see me coming up with these weird and wonderful ideas and go, what is Paula doing? And so, but they know that that's what makes me stand out. because, and that's what will make
Right.
my clients stand out, is because you're doing something that nobody else is doing, but you are connecting with your potential clients where they are.
Oh, I love that. And it's fun. It sounds like what you're doing and what you're bringing out of these individuals is the fun side of them, not just
Yes.
the business side, right? And really
Yeah.
connecting that in order to build a business that's successful, that you love, you got to have fun with it too, right?
You
And
have
bringing that
to.
inner child.
Yes. Yeah, it takes up so much of our time, doesn't it, when we're running business? When
Yeah,
we're in business, it's us, it's our life a lot of the times. So why aren't we incorporating our life in that, and our personalities in that? That's what draws people to you.
absolutely. No, I do love that. Now, okay, so how did you even come about this concept, right? That it's about having fun, not just business. How did you not get lost into all of the business side of things?
I did. I
Oh,
did. I think when I started my business, I fell into that trap. And I think that's why I can understand how people feel. I fell into it. I started my business and I thought, right, at that time, all the networking meetings were very suited and booted, very corporate style. And I thought, all right, I have to show up like this in a suit and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And until I realized that I didn't feel comfortable. That wasn't me. And why am I doing this? I left corporate to not be corporate. So I need to show up as me. And I started thinking about, well, what are my personalities traits? It was, I was in events, I was creating fun themed events, and I thought I'd go to these meetings and they'd give you 5 minutes to, what, 5 minutes, 3 minutes to talk about your business, and I'd stand up and I'd say I did this or whatever, and it was just so bland, and I listened to everybody else and I thought it's just so bland. So what I decided to do is, right, okay, how can I sort of spice mine up and, just make it a bit different, and then obviously grab people's attention. And so I started
yeah.
bringing props along with me. So instead of dressing in a
Oh,
suit or whatever, I came in something that I felt comfortable in. I love dresses, I love color, I love all of that. So, and then for my themed parties, I would bring, like, some of my props that I'd have the scenes. So when I got up to talk about my business, I would, like, oh, I do magic themes, and here's a wand, and I've got like coconut cups for the Caribbean party, and I've got, so everybody's like, what? So it just opened up and just lightened the mood in these meetings. And I thought, this is me. This is how I want to show up. I don't want to show up like, and people just loved that. They remembered me for who, what I did. And so that just happened over time. And I kept doing that for my own business and just bringing myself into it. And as I said, it wasn't until I started sort of running these events for business owners, I came up with a concept where called Fabtastic Shopping, and I worked alongside Tesco's. And when I tell people that story, they're like, "Well, how did you manage to get in with and at a stage, had about 4 or 5 Tesco stores working with me on it,
oh,
and
wow.
and basically, it was a big superstore. It was at the time when superstores were quite new; they were coming in. Um, and there were stores within the store, so huge Tesco's, it's Tesco extras, but it was a new one in
Yeah.
my area. And as soon as I walked in from the car park, there's this huge open area where the escalator is, and you go up the
Okay.
escalator into the store. And I just, again, that's what I mean about seeing opportunities. I saw that opportunity and I thought, this is a great space for independent traders to promote and sell. I just saw the space, and
Right.
connected with Tesco, just went up, saw the manager, talked to him, talked to the community manager, had some conversations, and eventually launched Fantastic Shopping and ran that for 7 years. And other Tesco stores started to come on board, wanted to get involved because it was like something for the community. And also they were raising money for their charity through having me have the space, and all of that happened. And then, yeah, as on the back of that, then I started doing training for the stall holders or the people who were promoting.
Oh wow. Oh my goodness. So that alone is a whole different journey altogether,
It
right? But
was. It really was. I look back and think, how did I actually do all of that? I was doing weddings, I was doing events, I was running these events. Oh my gosh. No wonder I'm sleeping now. Just
oh
trying to
my goodness.
relax.
It's a lot, but you managed to pull it off and like going with like superstores like Tesco's, like they're a huge brand. And you
Yes.
had 5 of these stores, like that is a massive accomplishment.
It really
Massive.
is. I loved it. I
Oh,
loved the time. I met so many amazing, talented people, and I felt myself being
mm,
drawn to them, thinking just how talented they were and just some of the tweaks that they could do to really just get noticed and get seen and increase those sales.
oh my goodness. Wow. Okay, I'm super, super excited. Like, all right, I would love for you to share with us some of the results that you've got some of your clients through working with you. Like, where were they at and where were they at when they actually started working with you and towards the end of it? Like, what did they achieve? I would love to hear these stories.
Oh my goodness. It is just, and I see it over and over again. It's similar for all of them. It's just
Yeah.
the confidence level of
Mm,
I don't want to be seen, or this is my business and I want to sell the stuff, but I don't want anybody to see me. And
oh,
so
interesting.
you, yeah, there's so many people like that. You know, a lot of the times when I start working with, they don't want they're shy about being in the camera to be the forefront. They would just rather promote what they sell.
Right.
And to watch the transformation, because what happens is that because they get so excited about what they're doing
Mm,
now, it's like they fall back in love with their business. They fall in love with themselves, but they fall in love with their business and they bring the two together. I always
okay.
say that um, when you're really passionate and you love what you're doing, you forget to be nervous. So you forget to do that thing where, oh my gosh, this is hard for me, or I don't know where to put my hands, what to do. Um, your excitement will just show when you show up. I mean, when you first start a course, it's a bit like scary and it's like you're getting used to it, whatever. But once you start to resonate with all of the things that make you excited about what you do, it just flows. It just flows. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's seeing that transformation. I've got, I've had past clients who, they were just so quiet when they met me, first of all, and very unassuming. And
Yeah.
now I'm seeing them doing, videos and doing podcasts and interviews and networking with people and repackaging their stuff in a way that people are getting excited about. And it's like, this is amazing. I love it.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Now, I want to take a couple of steps back here and talk about confidence, right? Because that seems to be the
Yeah,
culprit, right,
yeah,
of sabotaging our businesses and
mm,
ourselves.
yeah,
And so, and I've seen this as well when we're talking about video podcasting, right? Everybody wants to
mm,
do a podcast, but nobody wants to show up for themselves.
yeah.
Right?
I
And it's
know.
really funny because I've always said, I'm like, you want to be visible, but you can't be invisible at the same time, right?
Exactly.
Right. And so, what are some of your tips to kind of get past that barrier and build that confidence and that self-esteem so you can do it for yourself, your business, and be able to help everybody else too?
Yeah, and it's going back to what I said about understanding who you are. So,
Mm,
not thinking about yourself as just this business owner, because there is no just.
right.
So you're not just somebody who's just set up a business or just somebody who's been running a business. You are so much more than that. You are all of these things, like I told you about the things that I did in my past. And it's being able to own that so that when you stand in your space, you can feel the confidence coming from that. You don't always have to tell that whole story. You don't have to go to the full details of what you did or whatever. But being aware of that helps you to build your confidence because look what you achieved. Look at the things that you did before you came to this point. You know, that's what makes you special. That's what people are going to be drawn to. So, and again, going to that thing, it's not an overnight thing either, because for me, nobody nobody believes me when I say that I'm quiet. No one believes it. I was the most unassuming child. I was scared of everything and everyone. My mum couldn't leave me with babysitters. I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't drink. I would cry. I would, like, honestly. And even as a young adult and as a young adult teenager going through, so quiet, really, really quiet. Um, and for me, it was watching other people who didn't have the same abilities as me, and maybe not as strong in the things that they were doing, but they had the confidence. They could speak the speak, walk the walk, every bit. I was like, how did they get on and I didn't? And I slowly started to come out of my shell from that and slowly started to own who I was as an individual. But it is a journey. It is something that you need to start to embrace you and your personality, like who you are. I mean, little things like, stop that negative talk, like, oh, I hate the way I look on camera. I hate the way honestly, we've all got that thing about, we don't like certain things about ourselves, but there are ways to find the place that you feel happy about how you look.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I hear that all the time myself, right? And also there was something else that you mentioned. You mentioned like, going back to who you were, what you did. I think, and I know this for me as well, for a long time, I never spoke about me being an MMA fighter, me being a police officer, me being an author, me, because I was like, that's the past. That's not what I'm doing now. So why would I want to talk about that? Right? And I think a lot of us get into our heads and like, oh, we're not allowed to talk about our past because that's not who we are now. But if we didn't go through all of those things, we wouldn't have become who we are now.
Exactly. This is what I tried to get across. This is what I mean. You saying all those sound bites, it's like, oh my goodness, that makes you even more credible. You're not just somebody who turned up off the, streets and said, oh, well, I'm doing podcasts. You're somebody that has a journey and something that inspires. And yeah, it's so important to acknowledge that.
Oh my goodness, right. And I guess it brings so much more content to the surface as well, because I feel like another thing is, all right, I need to be visible and I need to be putting myself out there. What do I talk about? Right? I think that's another obstacle because I hear that with podcasting. I want a podcast, but what do I talk about in my episodes?
Yeah.
Right? And it's
Yeah.
like, well, there's a ton of stuff that you have done in the past and skills that you've learned, things you've picked up that have worked, that haven't worked. Talk about all those things. And all of a
Mm.
sudden, you've got content that's endless now.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's so much that we can talk about in our lives. And we park it, we put it to the side and, sort
Yeah.
of just live a really tiny fraction of our life.
Now, we're going to be coming to the end of this and want to wrap it up. But I
That's
know there's still
quick.
so much more that you can be teaching and so much value you can be giving to people. Before we wrap up, is there any last words that you have to share with our audience today?
Oh, I just want to say that there's so much more to you than now.
Mm,
And it's and also to take time to reflect and to step back and to listen to your inner voice. That's another thing that I feel is very, very important. It's easy to get caught up in the noise around you and what you should and shouldn't do. But
yeah.
if you listen and you take that time, you will know what feels right for you. And it
Mm,
doesn't have to be what everybody else is doing. It feels right for you. And because it feels
right.
right for you, that's why it will be a success. So yeah, definitely just spend some time um in the quiet time. That's when you're going to learn so much more about yourself and how you can show up. And this thing about, a lot of people say, well, I'm not creative, so I can't really think about how I can match that with my business and all. That's what I do. So if you want to, find out how I can help you do that, then I can help you with that.
Oh my goodness, I love that. So I know at this point people are like, okay, so how do I connect with you, Paula? Like, where do we go?
Right. Well, I'm very active on Facebook. I've got professional profile on Facebook. So just find me, Paula Burns. You will find me quite easily. I'm on Instagram, Paula Burns Mentoring on Instagram. I have got like other handles on Instagram. I've got a weddings one, but the Instagram one for mentoring is separate. I'm also on LinkedIn as well, but I'm most active on Facebook. Right now, I do have a special offer. It's a £99 offer, and it's for the month of August. I want to help as many midlife women as I can to really embrace who they are and also fall back in love with their business. So I've actually sort of entitled it, fall back in love with your business. And you get to spend a one-to-one hour with me talking through where you are and coming up with different ideas and some next steps that you can do to get you moving when we hit the autumn. So yeah, £99 is going to be well worth spending for what you'll get from the session.
Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness, guys, go and connect with Paula. Go and stalk her on social media, right?
Yeah.
Go and check out her channel, see what she's all about. Reach out to her. £99 offer. Like, oh my goodness, that's mind-blowing. Like, go and connect with her. Check it out, find out a little bit more about that. I promise you will not regret it. Paula, oh my goodness, thank you for coming on the show.
You are welcome. I've loved it. That 30 minutes went really quickly.
It really did. It really did. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.